Your emotions are not the enemy, but losing control of them is the fastest way to destroy your focus, your relationships, and your future. If you get angry quickly, if you overthink, if you panic when things go wrong, then you're living exactly how the Stoics warn not to live. Because a person who cannot control themselves can be controlled by anything. For the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to control your emotions like a Stoic warrior, using the same mental techniques that shaped emperors, philosophers, and some of the strongest minds in history. Today, your emotions are constantly under attack. You've got social media, stress, the news, the pressure to succeed, the lure of instant gratification, and the fear of missing out. You're overloaded, your mind is overstimulated. Your reactions are being hijacked by everything around you. The Stoics believe that without emotional control, a person becomes a slave, not to another person, but to their own impulses. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. This is the first rule of emotional control: master what happens inside you, and the outside world loses its power. A Stoic warrior doesn't try to control the world, they control their perception of it. Epictetus taught perhaps the most powerful idea in emotional mastery. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it. Someone insults you, you decide if it hurts. A challenge appears, you decide if it breaks you or builds you. A problem comes your way, you decide if it's an obstacle or an opportunity. You see, emotion doesn't come from events. Emotion comes from your interpretation of those events. When you change the story in your head, you change the feeling in your heart. This is how Stoics stayed calm in war, loss, chaos, and suffering. So, how do they do it? Let's start with technique number 1, the Stoic pause. Control begins in the gap. Most people react instantly. A Stoic warrior reacts slowly. Between a stimulus and your response, there is always a moment, a gap, and in that gap lies your power. So when something triggers you, just pause, breathe, hold your reaction for 3 seconds. This single habit stops anger, prevents panic, and reduces emotional explosions. It gives you time to think like a rational warrior. Seneca said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. The pause is your shield." Next, technique number 2 is to reframe the emotion. Stoics didn't suppress their emotions, they redirected them. Anger becomes determination. Fear becomes awareness. Sadness becomes reflection. And stress becomes preparation. A Stoic warrior asks one simple question: how can this emotion serve me instead of control me? Instead of fighting your emotions, you turn them into fuel. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." Your emotions aren't roadblocks, they are weapons when used correctly. The third technique is called negative visualization. It's about training the mind for impact. Stoics practiced a method called premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of adversity. They would imagine problems before they happened. Things like losing money, failing, being rejected, getting criticized, or facing setbacks. Why would they do this? Because when the mind has prepared for impact, the heart doesn't panic. This is how you build emotional armor, not by avoiding challenges, but by rehearsing your response to them. When the moment actually comes, your mind says, "I've already been here." And finally, technique number 4, focus only on what you can control. An emotional life is a reactive life. A Stoic life is a controlled life. Everything in your world falls into 2 categories. First, there are the things you can control: your actions, your mindset, your discipline, and your response. Then there are the things you cannot control: other people's opinions, the final outcomes, other people's actions, and the past. The Stoic warrior puts 100% of their energy only into that first category. When you do this, worrying disappears, fear shrinks, stress fades. Because when you stop fighting what you can't control, you finally take control of yourself. Emotional mastery isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming unshakable. To follow the Stoic path, you must control your interpretations, use the Stoic pause, reframe emotions into fuel, prepare your mind for adversity, and focus only on what you control. Do this, and you won't just control your emotions, you will command them like a warrior. You are stronger than your reactions, you are greater than your impulses. And when you master the inner battle, the outer world can no longer conquer you. Thanks for watching.